are a really useful tool on Excel when you're only really allowing for a set range of responses. So in this example, I want to indicate that each of these students are a part of either group A, B, C, or D. There's really no other possible option. Hence, there's only really a limited range of alternatives that I want those cells in column C to accept. Again, that's group A, B, C, or D. Likewise, in column D, the question of whether or not the student passed a test is a simple yes or no question. Those cells only really need to accept those two alternatives. So as you can see here, I've created a drop-down box that accepts group A, B, C, or D. Likewise, in column D, I've just given that a simple yes or no drop-down box. So rather than having to repeatedly type out which group a student is part of and whether or not they passed, basically this drop-down list here makes that task a lot quicker and neater. I'll show you how I did that. First, please remember to hit subscribe below for more content like this, and please feel free to leave a comment as well with any suggestions or requests on what you'd like me to cover next. Create a drop-down list for column C, which will include group A, B, C, and D, and then a separate drop-down list for column D, which will contain a simple yes or no response. Okay, so the first way that I can go about creating a drop-down list, I want to highlight those cells that I want to contain that list. And then in the top menu here, I'm going to go up to data. In data, I'm going to go across to the data tools grouping. I'm going to go into data validation here. And then once again, select data validation. It's going to bring up this box here that says data validation criteria. And in this box, it's going to give me what I want those cells to allow. Here, I'm going to click list. It's going to ask me for the source. Now, the source of that list is what I want those values to be. And those values, once again, are group A, B, C, and D. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight those boxes. And that's going to auto fill out this little box here with F3 to F6. I'm going to click OK. And now, if I hover over this box and click on this little arrow here, it's going to give me options for group A, B, C, and D. Just what I wanted. And that's going to be the same here. So I can go ahead and click group A, group B, etc. I can do that all the way down. Notice I still don't have a drop-down list here. I wanted to create a separate drop-down list. So I'm going to show you a slightly different way. It's pretty much the same process, but a very slight alternative way, which you may prefer, may be easier. Highlight the boxes here that I want the drop-down list to be contained in. I'm going to go back up into data, once again over to data validation and data validation. Once again, I'm going to click list in this drop-down box, and where it says source here, notice I don't have a yes or no option anywhere on this worksheet. I could type into here what I want those responses to be, separated only by a comma. So yes, comma, no. And once again, I'm going to click OK. And that's going to give me those two options. And that way, try and type in yes, and let's say I accidentally misspell that, and I type YRS. It's going to come up with an alert here that says I cannot enter that value. So it's going to also reduce the amount of errors or the possibility for errors in that. That's as simple as it is. It doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. It is easy to create a drop-down list, and I think as well. So I hope this video helped. And once again, please subscribe and like for more content.